Hi everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch Project on YouTube and also at overwatchproject.com. This is how to escape the reincarnation prison matrix. Part 4, the real matrix. Understanding what reality is as best as we can. In the first part, I kind of gave a general overview of this whole concept of being caught in a soul trap reincarnation matrix, like a louche farm. Second part, we broke down love, fear, and guilt components. And the third, amnesia, oneness, and submission. In this part, I want to cover a general overview of the totality of reality and links of my tabs here and other things that you can research will be in the description section below. So let's get started. So what is our real reality? I mean, how do we even understand what our reality is when you have so many different sides, all these different things being thrown at you in a world where, you know, you have atheists on one side, religious people on the other, spiritualists, all these different ideologies, and they're coming at you from every angle. And even if you're listening to someone like me who has come to the conclusion and has surrendered his former religious ideologies and now is of the conclusion that I am in a world that is slavish, parasitic, and that when my body finally shuts off here, when my spirit is free, I don't want to return here because I see this whole place as being bad. So I have a huge playlist also called The Real Matrix, which covers hundreds of videos. And everything that I link to or that I don't personally produce or don't personally speak about doesn't mean that I necessarily believe or endorse everything that everybody else says that I'm linking to. It's about coming to a point where you can see like the nexus where everything connects, right? So it's about the totality of everything. And you have to be willing to change your point of view before you start thinking about this too deeply. There is a college professor, philosopher from Canada, Jordan B. Peterson. He has a big YouTube channel. And in this one video where he's just giving a short interview, he talks about ideologies as parasitic. And you should give a listen to it after you're done with my video, because I think he said some really profound things here, things that he worded better than I could ever word. Basically, you know, we're all, if you're stuck in an ideology, you're running like a program, and basically you're only gonna view things through your ideology. This will give you a distorted view if your ideology has errors in it or is excluding data that it doesn't allow in. Anything with a dogma, anything that says something can't be, even though there's evidence to the contrary, is going to confuse your view of reality. And what I did in the past was filter things through my indoctrination of at first Catholic and then Christian religion. And it took me years and years of research to unravel all this. And it's not a comfortable feeling, because once you become disconnected from ideologies, you have to be comfortable with the chaos, right? You're sort of like letting the information lead you, letting the data lead you. And it's not about being blindly led. It's about vetting information, investigating, but not excluding things because you don't like it, right? So you have to like be a detective, and you have to listen to stupid people sometimes, and you have to listen to evil people, or you have to listen to people that have really crazy ideas, and then you have to listen to people that know a lot of stuff, and they may have 90% of everything right, and then you find out that they're lacking in one area, and you have to be okay with it. You don't have to, shouldn't be have anybody be a guru to you. You have to sort of be your own guru. You have to do it yourself. The only way you can really see what's going on is if you do this yourself, and it's not something that you can just watch YouTube videos about. It's about reading lots and lots of books and listening to audiobooks if you like it, like I do. I prefer audiobooks, but there's so much information out there that it's years and years to really, if you have an ideology, to unravel yourself, to free your mind of it, right? And then you have this like broad picture of reality, and sometimes you have to be willing to change your mind about things. In a video I made recently about artificial intelligence, and here it is right here: AI, physical conscious versus non-physical or spirit consciousness. This was a video I made explaining how I came across information that then had to have me change my whole view about artificial intelligence. And that's what it's like. You have to be okay with the chaos, or you will quickly find yourself saying something or believing something that's crazy. And you end up thinking wrong things. And that's the other thing. It's not about believing anything. When you're dealing strictly with raw data and information, you're knowing things, and you don't have to believe anymore. So you have to know that you can know only so much. And it's better to have like a basic knowledge of a lot of things than have a generalized, intense knowledge of one thing. So that basic broad knowledge gives you a broad view of everything. I have a basic knowledge of a lot of things, but I'm not an expert in many things at all. But you have to like get that big picture, right? And that means being able to change your mind, being able to be in chaos, and being okay with it. And if you take a look at everything that people say, or that the information we have available about our reality, you may have assumed, if you're like, for example, an atheist or materialist type person, you may have assumed like the Big Bang Theory is still good, right? You may have assumed there's no scientific information that backs up that people get reincarnated. You may have assumed lots of things. In a video, 4 videos I made where I titled my video a little provocatively, but it was kind of the truth. I based my title on a quote from Lawrence Krauss, a astrophysicist, that said if the data he was looking at correct, it would mean he was wrong about everything, and the Earth was really the center of the universe. Now, the Earth is actually a center of something, but what that means exactly, we don't know. So I made 4 videos. My newest one corrected scientists know the Earth is the center of the universe. These videos break down stuff that you may have not even heard of, right, about our reality. What is the real information about our existence in this material universe? For example, out of this video, you'll learn about the axis of evil, of cosmology. This is what scientists have coined, that term, axis of evil, because after billions and billions of dollars of research and 3 separate space satellites and observing the known universe, they found out that the Big Bang Theory is not only wrong, but the universe is ordered in a certain way, and that order makes it, like designed, right? And they can't handle that, right? Atheists don't like that because they can't have anything be designed. It has to be an accident, a random accident, a singularity that exploded. I mean, scientists now today are basically coming to that conclusion that we live in a holographic or simulation universe. But they still want to maintain that this simulation is an accident. And it's mind-boggling how much they're willing to bend to maintain their atheism. And I'm not saying they should go over to a religion. I'm saying that both religious and the atheists are both wrong, right? So the axis of evil is because there's an axis line or a correlation with the plane of the earth around the sun. And this would basically say that there's actual, like, these axis lines would imply that we're at some kind of central point in the universe, which is mind-blowing, right? Now, if you remember Robert Monroe's out-of-body experience from his book Far Journeys, where he's talking about the Loosh Farm, and the designer of the Loosh Farm, this someone that created a garden so they could grow loosh. I mean, you would assume they're just talking about the planet Earth, but it could be the entire universe. And this whole concept of designing an environment for matter beings, to biologicals, to house basically non-physical entities so that they could feel things like loneliness or love or anger, and in this form of being biological, release something called loosh that is then farmed and is valuable for someone somewhere, right? So if you haven't read Robert Monroe's book, you should pick it up and read it. It's fascinating. His 3 books are fascinating. Now, you get to this point where you have all these people out there that actually do get it. A lot of people out there have videos and on YouTube now that talk about our reality as a prison, as a matrix, as a soul trap. And there's lots of different sources for that. But what are they really saying? Does everything that these people say match up with the totality of the information? And this is the shocking part. Now, I can find people that I will say, they got 90% of it right, and then somehow they're missing the boat on something that I'm looking at data about, evidence, information, whether it's witness testimony from near-death experiences or out-of-body data or other scientific data about the universe, etc. These people seem to be disconnected from a portion of the information. So let me give you an example. Like, for example, Bernard Gunther is a great investigator and researcher, and he's done a lot of stuff. He's written books. He's given lectures. He has a really thorough website here, Veil of Reality, and he talks about a lot of the same stuff that I talk about. He does it in a different way, but I really appreciate his work. Recently, he was interviewed by Joy Camp, who is another YouTuber, and he's pretty popular out there. And he does a lot of like political comedy skits and stuff like that. But he's interviewing Bernard Gunther on his YouTube channel, Joy Camp, and you can listen to this whole thing. It's fascinating. But Bernard is, Joy Camp has finally realized that the political chaos, the constant conflict in the world, that there is something behind that more than the physical, that there's a metaphysical aspect to this, that there is a prison planet type, and I'm not talking about, Alex Jones here or anything like that. I'm talking about an actual like Loosh Farm, Soul Trap, Reincarnation Trap, Prison Planet. And if you listen to this whole interview, I have to ask, as I hear this theme a lot, these people will acknowledge this, and there's all kinds of people out there that I really like on YouTube, like Rex Bear of the Leak Project, or Jeff Doherty, for example. People that before, when I had religious programming, I would see them as evil, and oh, these people are just, they're not right, you know, but I had to work through all that. But when you're listening to these people and they talk about how they like the earth, or they like this, or they go out for their hikes, or in this video, in this interview here, Joy Camp is talking about, I guess they went to Peru to do the ayahuasca tea. And, he's talking about being, you have to listen to this, folks. It's about 59 minutes into the video, and it goes on for about 6 or 7 minutes. This part is where Joy Camp is describing being in this jungle, being uncomfortable, being sick, being attacked by mosquitoes. And you know what? He's just going to embrace it, and that's when the mosquitoes, these parasites, stopped attacking him, was once he gave in to it. Well, of course, the reincarnation trap here, the soul trap, will help you out if you submit to it, right? I kind of covered that in the last video. But I just don't get it, because this is the point of the whole video here. Where does the Matrix begin? And for a lack of a better term, I'm going to use the word Matrix. This prison realm, or Loosh Farm Matrix, where does it begin and where does it end? Because in order to get out of here, you have to know where out of here is, right? In Eben Alexander's near-death experience, he actually travels outside of this whole universe. His NDE is quite unique, and I read his book. It's fascinating. But if you follow this information to its logical conclusion, you have all this data. Too much here. Too much. I would have hundreds of tabs open here if I had to. But let's just think about this for a minute. Is the soul trap, is the reincarnation trap here on Earth, or is it the entire material universe that we perceive, plus all of its contained higher dimensions? I mean, how many dimensions? Some scientists, they have, like, I've heard scientists say they calculate there may be 26 dimensions or 12. There's all these different theories and hypotheses out there. But there's clearly more dimensions than we can perceive in the human body. And you've heard of the so-called astral plane, which is probably where you first enter when you leave your body, or out-of-body experiencers travel. And there's all these like reports of false heavens there and all this other stuff. So you're dealing with a multi-dimensional matrix that, if you look at it to its logical conclusion, you got to say that includes this entire universe. There is a book I was reading. First, let me go find it here. It's called The Omniverse, where it shows you like theories of the. Oh gosh, I'm getting all kinds of crap here. I'll find it. I'll pause the video and find it. Hold on. The Omniverse by Alfred Weber. Now, this is like basically like a theoretical book exploring what we know about the universe and transdimensional stuff, and how it's not just about this universe, but reality has multiverses, and there's an omniverse I guess that encompasses everything that is, right? And then, from other, like, if you were thinking about an actual true type of thing that you could call like the actual God, it's an inexpressible all that produces everything, but really is inexpressible and unknowable. This would be the actual Big Bang of consciousness and information that then has produced everything else. In this universe that we're in right now, if you consider the entirety of this universe as the soul trap, how do you end up going out into the jungle to walk barefoot in the mud and get sick and puke and embrace the mosquitoes? Okay, let me be blunt here. I hate nature most of the time. Okay, it's trying to kill me everywhere I go. Right? If you go out in the sun without your sunscreen, it will burn you alive. If you don't consume the right foods, you'll die. If you don't get enough water, you'll die. Nature is trying to kill you all the time. Nature is vicious. And people go out there and, oh man, isn't it? It's magnificent, isn't it? No, it's not, right? And some scientists now actually think along the lines of Lloyd Pye, who passed away back in like 2013, I think, starting to agree with some of the things he said, where, if you look at how we're designed, we're not even designed.
DNA.
We're not even designed to like exist in this environment well, right? We're not. We're poorly designed. Every other creature here has the ability to naturally adapt to its environment, but we don't. We have to artificially adapt to the environment. So you could go back to the Sumerian text, and you can maybe come up with some kind of thing that, and even in other religious books with ancient texts that kind of talk about why we were created, how we were created, and you can get, maybe there is some element of truth into that, right? Because we're poorly designed to be here. We couldn't have evolved this way. So evolution for us is just a stupid idea because it doesn't work for humans especially. And then you have this whole concept of like a flat universe, a holographic universe. But you have these people like Joy Camp and others, and they talk about grounding themselves to the earth. And I'm like, for what purpose? To worship Mother Gaia? As far as I'm concerned, I've always had a feeling that this whole thing, this whole reality is kind of alien to me. And it's weird, but I've tried to go along and I like going to the beach, I like going to I don't like being uncomfortable, and I don't like I will tolerate it, but let's face it, I mean, especially now that I'm older, I mean, I don't like it, right? I don't like it. I prefer to just sit, learn, think, get some exercise. I try to eat healthy. I haven't been able to make the whole like vegetarian thing work, but even there, it doesn't matter what you do. We're designed to consume life to live. We're forced to be parasites to live in our biological avatars. Forced to do it by design to make us like what is feeding on us. That's my theory. And it's horrible. And then if you look at some of the stuff like especially Jordan Peterson, some of his work in our whole screwed up thinking process. I've talked about this in other videos, where it's like our brains are designed to F up our thinking as much as possible. you have people out there believing in the most bizarre crap, and you can show them data, and some of these people are like the authorities in charge of information, right? You have your college professors, and you have your priests, and you have your the authority of information out there. You have people that have been designated as an authority, as an expert, and these people have ideas that I can just research because it's the age of information. Anybody can learn anything they want now. And I can see like, oh, that's bullshit. This is bullshit. It's all BS. But you can't talk to people about what data contradicts their beliefs, because if you do that, you run into the backfire effect, cognitive dissonance, all this other crap. And so I'm amazed that there is people watching my YouTube videos that have been growing in number lately, and it's also been making me a little nervous. I'm not doing this channel to make money or to sell things or to provide a service. It's sort of like an online public diary of my research. And I looked today and I'm like, wow, I have like 3,800 plus subscribers now, and I'm starting to get some comments from people clearly like offended by my information and stuff, and I don't mean to offend anybody, or they're telling me to repent and this and that and the other thing. And it's funny because I should do a whole video on like this whole concept of Satan and Lucifer and all this other stuff, because it is amazing if you really research like the term Satan, which really means adversary, and it's become like a thought form, an archetype. And I mean, technically speaking, anybody that you're adversarial with is satanic, right? So you have, I don't know how many different Christian denominations that disagree with one another. Some of them almost to the point of anger, being in disagreement with one another, and technically, one would be satanic to the other if you're following the logic there. But I'm going off topic now. Let's go back to this. So we know that we can make artificial universes because it's all about information. Reality is all information based, and we made like No Man's Sky, which only takes up about 7 gigs in my PlayStation. This game has practically an entire universe in it. Quintillions of planets. It would take like, I think, 5 billion years, real years, to explore everything in this game. And it uses a procedural algorithm to produce the massive reality. And you have to wonder, well, maybe we're just in some kind of procedural algorithm here, right? Experiencing this. Then you have like Elite Dangerous. They don't have a universe as big as No Man's Sky, but it's much more complex and condensed to just the galaxy here. And it uses, what real maps we have of the stars and stuff to give you a layout of the reality. But you have these games show how virtual realities or simulation realities can become more and more complex as we develop systems. And now they're developing AI, and they want to kind of like put us in a simulation inside of a simulation, which is really crazy, because the point is to get out of this whole mess, right? You want to get out of the matrix, the real matrix. In order to do that, you have to first accept what the real matrix is. You have to understand what reality actually is. What is reality? And I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of shocked that I'm getting more and more subscribers, and I don't have time to answer. I'm getting comments like every few minutes sometimes, and I don't have time. I'm either busy because, like I said, this isn't my living. I don't do this for a living. So I can come on here and I can be completely bluntly honest with my viewers. You can take it and do your own research. You don't have to believe me about anything. I will delete comments that are downright beyond nasty. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me because, hey, I was once where some of these people are, so I understand. It's a big, shocking learning curve. But it is what it is. You have to do your own research to see what I'm talking about and a lot of this stuff. Anyway, this is my video, The Real Matrix, and part 4 to my How to Escape the Reincarnation Prison Matrix. The Real Matrix will be the subtitle of this video, and this is my new computer I'm using from System 76. It is a Linux out-of-the-box computer, and I'm not paid by them or anything, but I don't know how the microphone will sound on this. My old PC had a really small screen, and it was getting too hard for me to comfortably work on it, so I got a bigger 17-inch screen now, and it's really much better. Anyway, I'm not sure about the microphone quality. I don't know if it is as good as the microphone quality of my old computer, but I'm sure you guys will tell me if you made it this far into the video in the comment section below. So I will link to everything here, but if you want to do more research on like the axis of evil, you should go to my video list and then just do a browser search. Once you scroll down to the bottom, I think I have like a little over 100 videos. Scroll down to the bottom, and then so you have all the videos with their titles exposed. And if you do a browser search for the word center, the videos that have that title, "Scientists Know the Earth is the Center of the Universe," will come up. Somebody sent me a message last week, who cares if we're at the center of the universe? And actually I care about all data, right? Every piece of information is a piece of the puzzle. So if you look at what everybody's saying, you can kind of get a broad picture of reality, and then you can start guessing about things. It's my personal deduction based on my experiences as an investigator and based on my ability in the past to sometimes see things that other people couldn't see, because I would put myself outside, mentally outside of the whole thing, so I could see things from the outside, and have been proven right in the past. I'm going with the deduction that the totality of the information shows that we exist in like a prison reality, a louche farm, a reincarnation trap. And the whole point is, how do you know what to do after you finally die so that you don't come back here, so you can exit the whole thing? And I don't think worshiping Gaia or trampling around half naked in the freaking jungle, embracing the mosquitoes, is the freaking way out of here. Okay? The whole earth, the whole material universe, including all of its additional dimensions, to me is probably the Matrix. So I don't worship it. Space isn't the final frontier. What's beyond this universe is the final frontier. So good luck, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll put my tabs in the description section below, and happy researching. Talk to you guys later. I'll be looking forward to the comments. If I can't answer everybody, please don't get upset. I have limited time, and I am still researching a lot of stuff. Maybe, so far nothing has changed this particular opinion about reality, but it's based on the information. I let the information guide me, the data, after it is vetted properly. So good luck. Do your own research. Be your own guru. Listen to all. Follow none. Have a good day or a good night whenever you happen to be watching this. I'll see you next time. Bye.